everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katia Woods. This is A Cup of Soul, and today we're discussing Deadpool. Deadpool 2, just to be exact, because that was a Deadpool 1. Alright, let's get into it. I like Ryan Reynolds. I like him a lot. We're going to forgive Green Lantern. I think the intent in that movie was good, but the results, as we know, were no bueno. But I like him in Deadpool. I like the sense of humor. And as a side note, I know it's a Marvel movie, but this is not a kid's movie. It has a kid in it, but the humor, the contents, the language overall is not for little kids. So I would say teenager, and then give or take what that age is for you as far as a parent when it comes to your teenage child, but definitely not like grammar school or middle school. It's just a lot of adult content, and they don't really understand it. What's so different about this one? I liked a lot of the casting. I loved, let me make sure I say her name correctly, Zazie Beetz, who played Domino. Love her. If you are familiar with Atlanta, she's on Atlanta. She plays Donald Glover, aka Childish Gambino's girlfriend. And you know, on there she is, you know, vulnerable and dealing with the fact that her boyfriend basically is a schmo and the father of her child. But in this movie, we get to see her be kick-ass, and she's funny, and she definitely is, the camera loves her, and vibrant. And I love the fact that a woman has that type of presence in an action superhero movie. Too often the women are like little decoration. Like, they know they should have them in there, but they don't do much with them. Not her. Domino is really a welcome character, and I'm looking to see more of her as they continue in that series. Alright. TJ Miller, he is fine. I mean, you know, he gives you what you expect. He gives you that usual shtick. Can we also talk about the kid? His name is Julian Dennison, and he plays the X-Men child, because, you know, we're still in the Deadpool series, they still don't know what to do with mutants, and they still look at them as terrifyingly threatening, and think they're a bad thing, and they kind of like have to be scared out of their talent, or their talents have to be, excuse me, their skills and their special, how do we say that? I don't want to say skill, but more or less, yeah, in this case, let's just say skill until I come up with something better. But more or less, their power. There we go. Duh. Their power is something that is harmful and that needs to be harnessed, not try to be used for good. So basically, they're doing a lot of bad things in this movie to the young kids, and he rebels. You know, the people that are pretending and supposed to be taking care of the kids are really worse than the X-Men, the mutants. As tends to be most of these cases. The other person, what else did I like? I also enjoyed Karan Soni, who played Dopinder. Humor, great, and you know, he is that guy that we all know that wants to be a part of the superheroes, but then when he gets a first glimpse of that superhero life, he's like, on second thought, I'm good. So I really liked him. A nice welcome in the movie that I really, somebody whose career is legendary, and it's nice to see her still working. Her name is Leslie Uggams. If you don't know about Leslie Uggams, shame on you. Google her. She is a show business veteran. A lot of people still stand on her shoulder, and it's nice to see her play somebody that is not so mainstream. She plays Blind Al, and the fact that she's willing to poke fun of herself and play somebody who's not so glammed up, because Leslie Uggams definitely is glamorous and beautiful and attractive, and to see her play this character and willing to poke fun and to show that type side of her is really, really great. All right, the story is not horrible, but it starts off good. Let me just say that. The love story between Deadpool and his girlfriend, played by Morena Baccarin, that's really cute, and how they have this really weird sense of humor and they complement each other. Here is spoiler alert. So she ends up not making it. I'm not going to tell you how she died, but this gets Deadpool kind of like into asking himself and takes him down this path of vengeance, but at the same time questioning his place in the world and so forth, and he kind of like is stuck a little bit. And this is where Weasel comes in, is like, hey, we've got stuff to do. You're starting, like, come on now, you gotta get out of the funk. And they decide, in order to combat the evil, he can't do it alone. He's not in a space to do it alone, and not able to combat things on his own. So Josh Brolin, who's really having a great year. Pause for a minute. Josh Brolin is having a great year in the Marvel Universe, first with Thanos and now as Cable, and he looks great. I love the look of his character in Deadpool, from the haircut, and you know, Josh is not a super young guy. He's in his 40s, you know, for those of us who remember him back from the Goonies. He's been in the business for a while, and he's also the son of a Hollywood legend. Nevertheless, he looks great in this movie. I loved his costuming, his whole skill set. It was believable. Really enjoyed him. Like I said, he's having the best of both worlds. He's getting to play like a semi-bad guy, and then he's gotten to play a really, really good bad guy. But anyways, but here you have, he's coming in from the future. And the reason he's there is to prevent the past. So he is basically there to make sure that Julian Dennison's character, which is the kid, doesn't get to fulfill that prophecy, right? So he's willing to stop anyone and everyone who's in his way. The beauty of this, let me clarify. What I thought when I saw the previews was going to be a bigger impact didn't happen. And I think that's where the movie went a little left for me. I was excited to see Terry Crews. I was excited to see Louis Tan. And I was excited just to see what was going to happen with their interpretation of having like this little mini super non-politically correct team to fight along with Deadpool. But that really didn't get to happen. So again, spoiler alert. So you have, and hold on, and Rob Delaney was a part of that, but he doesn't have any superpowers. He just saw the ad. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. So in the previews, you see all these amazing people. Like I said, Louis Tan has a martial arts background. He is just really impressive looking on the screen and just has a great presence. And it was just nice to see an Asian being a part of this Marvel universe, right? But then he dies coming out of the airplane. So you have all these people that have a skill set and they can't jump out of an airplane and land on mark. Like, what kind of sense does that make? So you mean to tell me you can fight bad guys, but you're a superhero. You're supposed to be able to compensate for that. Not in this movie. Same thing with Terry Crews. Terry Crews is very versatile and he has a great presence, and a lot of us, you know, everything that's been going on with Terry Crews are rooting for him because A, he deserves it, B, he's a really, really, how can I say this? He's really talented. And number two is, it would have been nice to see how his character, because he has great humor, would have meshed with Deadpool. But again, he was in the movie for, if 5 minutes would be a lot, maybe 2.2 minutes. So I was like, that sucks. So I was not pleased with this part. I understand what they were going for, but I feel like you wasted some really good interaction and characters. Is this movie horrible? No. Do I like it better than the first one? Yes. But I felt like it started off on a high and it was really going places, and then it was like, just looking to tie it all up, to explain why Cable was there, and then is he a good guy, is he a bad guy, and just overall. And how in the freaking world, who is the monster, right? Like, remember they're in the prison and then he knows they're talking about the monster, but we don't know, other than size, why he's the monster. Like, what made this thing be a part of like the bad guys? Unless I really missed something when I was watching the movies. But it's like, okay, it's understood there's this beast that's locked up and it's there and it's bad. And it's big. And everybody's frightened of it and it's on lockdown. But the kid manages to be able to befriend it because it fed it. Something's missing here. A chapter or verse is missing here. So I feel like there was a lot of things going on in this that were understood. Again, what was the point of having the tryouts for X-Force if there wasn't going to be an X-Force unless you want to count Domino? And Cable is now allegedly staying. So I didn't like how just all of a sudden I felt like it was rushing to get to the end. Do I think it's worth watching it if you're into Deadpool and you enjoy that type of stuff? Yes, but for me the story was just lacking a little bit and it just had holes in it and it didn't come together. The special effects are great, and if you should see it, the reason you really should see it is Domino and Deadpool. Everything else is like, come see, come sa. I do hope, there's been some rumors and some conversation about possibly doing an X-Force movie. That would be cool. A standalone X-Force movie where you have this oddity, whereas X-Men is very polished, very organized, very PC, for lack of a better word. This would be X-Force, where kind of like the bad boys, where they're good and they're fighting for good, but they're very unorthodox and they're not as polished. So I would be more interested in seeing that and getting a better opportunity to get to know Louis Strand's character, to get to know Terry Crews's character and all of that in the Marvel universe. And overall, I think Marvel with Black Panther now owes it to have, there was great diversity in this movie, but don't just put people of different backgrounds in a movie and don't let them be fulfilled characters. Again, other than Domino, it would have been great to see the other characters be a little bit more fulfilling. If you've seen Deadpool 2, let me know if you felt the same way that I did, that it lacked in certain areas, that it was more focused on the humor and on, like I said, the humor is very adult, very tongue-in-cheek. There's a lot of sexual innuendo, ambiguity. And you think they were more focused on that than completing all of the characters. If you loved it, share that with me as well. If you hated it, share it with me as well. And as always, if you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next go around.